Greetings, I'm Roger Newbold, and welcome to episode number 27 of Experience Photography. My fellow photographer, my good friend and partner, and editor for this episode is Matt Rich. He is the giant of astonishing talent that makes all of this vlog project work. Are you there, my friend?
Amazing talent.
Great. In episode 26, we talked about non-tripod camera supports. We offered several new methods and helps to keep the camera calm during the photographic situation. I hope the advice helped, and it helped keep you balanced when the tripod was not appropriate. Today is another great endeavor at finding inspiration, new methods, and helpful examples. It's called Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. See figure number 1. Like every decision we make in life, photographic or otherwise, there are always two sides to the story. And we're going to explore an idea over the next few vlogs, and we certainly encourage your thoughts, ideas, and participation and comments back in this consideration. In discussions with one of our local photo groups and a couple of comments that were written in from viewers, it got me pondering about looking to the masters, other photographers, for guidance and inspiration. Several inquiries were searching for who's the best to follow and to copy and to emulate. This is where the big red flag went up in my head. It's a danger signal. Figure 2. Nobody likes copycats, especially teachers who knew the roots of the image being observed. Yet everyone I know, indeed, has done so to some degree. This is where we walk the plank. Why do we do it? I'd really like to hear from you, some of your stories, and what was your intent. Now, plagiarism with the intent to deceive is wrong, and I have not come up with a situation where I really find it truly acceptable. I do understand, however, there can be possibilities that can be advantageous to the one doing the copying. As learning step, it's easy to perceive the advantage. So in learning, an acceptable reason for copying other people's photographs is to actually, because they have invited you to. They have encouraged the learning experience. Let's hop in the time machine and stop at 1984. Ansel Adams, California, USA, reissued his basic learning series of books on the camera, the negative, and the fine print. The older books, they were very thin, black-covered editions. They came from the 60s or 70s, and they were about 100 pages. When he changed and rewrote these, they leapt from 100 to about 250 pages, and the new gray cover editions was the reason that they were all about teaching and instructional enhancements. Ansel wanted the reader to understand every nuance that he could possibly explain in print. Now, Fred Picker of Vermont, USA, he was a friend of Ansel, and he was also the creator of the Zone 6 workshop. He updated his book by that same name, Zone 6 Workshop, But he even took the newer media of VHS tape to distribute an actual darkroom session of how to make an artistic print. On the videotape, it went through step by step into the darkroom, and you could see everything he was doing. And he actually included an 8x10 darkroom print made by Fred himself for you to hold, to see, and compare your increased skills. Now, the users, the readers, were encouraged to copy. I followed both of them in their time, and I admit I acquired a lot of new skills in doing so. I also made my pilgrimage to Yosemite to test my vision, see if I would recognize the landscape as Ansel might have. Even though I made some, I thought, remarkable images on that trip, I rarely show them because they are totally derivative. They're unoriginal. They're spin-off pictures of what Ansel had done. You know, I came, I saw, I learned. So it's time to move on. Don't attempt to pass yourself off as the next wonder photographer while skidding along on somebody else's coattails. It took me several years to figure this out, and I share it with you now. Matt will put this on screen. You don't need to walk where Ansel walked. You need to walk with the goal that Ansel had. Well, if you're not into Ansel, let's pick a master of your choice. Let's climb up on their shoulders and be grateful for their boost. Develop feelings and commitments to your work as they did. Copy their heart and their passion and their drive for excellence. Become the very best version of you. Copying also has legal ramifications in the international copyright law. Now, fines and penalties are remarkably stiff. And it is also difficult, I can only imagine, to make photographs from the Gray Bar Hotel, sponsored by your local constabulary. There was a picture made of two slingback beach chairs, and they were billowing in the breeze, and we're not going to reproduce it here. An art director ordered another photographer to reproduce that image for a hotel chain in their brochure right next to the poolside. Now, the hotel and the art director were sued for copyright infringement. The original photographer went home, with a whole extra year's salary. Just because you think it's cool doesn't make it legal. You may wish to investigate your rights to copy and to protect. Matter of fact, the latest B&W magazine out of the UK has a great article on fair use and the copyright law. You should check it out. I see two different conflicts here. The first one is copying your own previous work, especially if you did it for a client. And when a new client may ask you to, take the same shot of something you've already done before, I hate copying myself. I'd like to do something new. So I suggest you try and find a compromise with the client. Make a similar concept, but Add something new and distinctive to your photos. The second occurrence is copying somebody else's concept. Now, either way, I would just simply gratefully refuse. Learn what you can, add a twist, make it different, make it your own. Now, I might be wrong, but that's my 2 cents worth. Discovery. This is another thought, as a provoking idea. Why would copying another photographer's images be beneficial to you? Again, this is not meant to say that you should steal and copy the work from others for your own personal profit. Rather, the idea here is that you are newer to photography and you're trying to find your personal niche or style. Copying is the process of work, and it will help. It'll help you to discover your own aesthetic preferences. Now, we have absolutely found this to be true with students, endeavoring to find their own zone. I may have not found my own style if I had not tried to recreate some other photographer's look or lens choice, seeing how it came together and seeing how the whole thing became my own breakthrough. Now, copying can be used as a springboard to help you become your own artist and creating in your own unique way. It is the gap between the photographer that you're copying and the facsimile that is made where you will find your style. After you develop a basic set of skills, I advise that you expose yourself to other types of artworks or inspiration in all media. Try looking beyond the photographers you wish to shoot like. Search online for artists or musicians of all types. Your art doesn't directly need to be influenced by just photographers who shoot what you want or the way you want. They can be sensitive. Your soul should be able to be inspired by every single step, everything that's out there. Graphic designers, logo designers, marketing people, they exhibit great fodder for an inquiring mind of a photographer. It may not be what you see, but how you see it. Let your creativity stir that pot for a while. Let's take a look at Figure 3 by J. Maisel. Maisel has always been one of the masters. His work is one that I have always admired. His graphic take is something that we all still can learn from. In Figure 4, Eric Kim made an inspired interpretation. Now, I don't know Eric Kim. I wished I did. He's the photographer who made this interpretation. But he was able to take the concept of the bright color and graphic design and modify it into a precious jewel of his own. Discover how one used the thought well, and he did not actually make a direct copy. Figure 5, Maisel example B, we observe the probing lens of Maisel, and again with the camera at hand, a powerful lesson of his own to be followed. Always have a camera. Jay was able to zoom in on the eyes of wonder. Now, I think it's spectacular. But in Figure 6, we see how Eric Kim was able to capitalize on the eye proposition in a powerful, powerful interpretation. As we mentioned back in episode 17, it's about the 5-minute mark in that episode. Put the camera in a more dramatic position. See a new way with added drama and power. Eric did it. Look at those eyes. Oh. In figure 7, we have an example by Ansel Adams. Figure 8, one from Carlton Watkins. A similar matter. In figure 9, we see an Ansel. And we see figure 10, an example from Philip Hyde. Now, Philip is very quiet. When I worked with Phil Hyde, the only thing I got was very few words, but you could almost hear the thoughts bubbling. I have never seen a more contemplative man. It just knocked me out in his work. In figure 11, we see Ansel. Figure 12, we see David Munch. Well, as you can see from our set of examples, inspiration flows out in every direction, from one to the next, generation to generation, person to person. We all are benefited from standing on the shoulder of giants. Those that broke new ground or inspired in any way should be thanked for their part in the grand scheme. We must be careful how we honor them and their efforts. There may be a day when somebody is following you. How would you feel if they made a direct written copy? Hitch your wagon to a star. Learn to discover. Gently take. Gratefully give back. And as we continue this series, let's respect the flow. Use what you can to grow. Build your character, your imagery. Have fun. I recommend smiling a lot. Think of this. Maybe the image isn't even the main goal. We believe the experience is what counts. Learning isn't meant to be easy. Experience will cause grief. It does. Maybe pain. Definitely frustration. However, if you expect to get to the top, be prepared for opposition, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. Now, I think we made a good start today, standing on the shoulder of giants. I'm sorry that our time is up for this session. I enjoy our time together and what we learned. Now, we're going to pick up here on our next episode at looking at masterworks. But Matt and I, we really hope that we've provided you a good solid start and some information that will boost you and your friends. Let all your friends know where to tune in for experienced information. Subscribe. Give us a big old thumbs up. Hey, I love it. Thank you for chiming in and following along. We aim to help you see, create, and do better. We will see you right here real soon. A tip of my hat to you, my friends. Cheerio.